what the project engineer told me was that the city's road reconstruction was going to stop about 250 feet short of where phase one of the water district's water main replacement is going to be, which is right in the middle of our block on Riggs Avenue. And then next year, then they would go ahead and finish their project in the fall, and then next year the city would come in and finish that, which again is, my concern is, and I'm hoping I can convey this correctly to council, is it's right in the middle of a city block where we're all going to be inconvenienced with the parking restrictions and the lane restrictions and the dust and the dirt and the right-of-way invasions, not invasions, a poor choice of words, but the right-of-way construction area for one entire summer, basically. And then because of where the border appears to be, we're going to start that whole process over again this time next year, and basically it's going to be an entirely new summer. I totally understand that the road needs reconstructed, and I totally understand that the water main, based on where I can see it leaking on different parts of Riggs, also needs replaced. I totally understand these types of things have to happen. I've been there 22 years, and right after I moved in, I think there was some major construction on Riggs, road construction, but since then it's been a number of years, and I know the road's heavily traveled. And talking to Mr. Bogart, he told me that it was his assumption that the city's road reconstruction in phase one was going to go all the way to Greenfield. And if that's the case, that eliminates most of our block, but still not all of it. What I was hoping, he told me that the plans for the first phase, this summer's phase, had not gone to bid yet, but they were being finalized. And what I was hoping is to have the chance to look at those plans, maybe with the Public Works Committee, Mr. Bogart himself, Mr. Viox himself, and just have some questions answered as to maybe wouldn't it have been better to stop at Kirby Court, where it's an actual intersection, instead of right in the middle of a block with the first phase, and then pick it up from there, or take it all the way, if indeed it doesn't go all the way to where their first phase ends at Greenfield, and pick it up where their second phase starts. That's where you would also pick up your second phase. I looked at it again this afternoon when I came home and just see no rhyme or reason for where it is. And frankly, I am being somewhat selfish here. And looking at the 250 feet area, it looks like the project, your project, stops right in the middle of my property. Not even at a property line, but smack dab cutting my home in half, where one half of the road's going to be done this summer, and then next summer you're going to start again right back in front of my house. And I'm hoping that there's a way we can alleviate that and move this so that it's a one summer project for me as opposed to a two. Did I convey my issue properly?
So.
Does everybody have a fair understanding of what I'm looking at?
I think so.
Great,
yeah.
Thank you.
And just so to be clear, I know you mentioned something about the 250-foot gap. If there wasn't the gap, if the water line and the pavement stopped at the same spot, does that help anything? I mean,
if your construction project in the water main first phase,
yeah.
From my perspective, it takes it not only totally off my property line, but off my neighbors and my neighbors on the other side of them. That 250 feet, for me personally, while I understand I'm going to deal with the residue of such a project, because it's such a big project for 2 years, i.e. traffic restrictions and things like that, it takes a lot of the dust, the dirt, the noise, the parking restrictions, at least off of my property after one summer, as opposed to me dealing with that for back-to-back summers.
Okay.
So 250 feet in either direction, based on what I was told this morning, makes a major difference to me. Of course, I also want to make sure I've been told all the proper information as well.
Yeah.
Because everything's been a phone conversation.
Yeah, and I'm not aware of exactly how that's all phased and the stopping points either. So we'll have to do a little bit of learning on our side as well before we could say anything
and I understand I'm a little
it.
bit late to the party. I knew the water main was happening, and I knew it was happening soon, and I traded some phone calls with them. Until this morning, I had no idea about the road reconstruction, so I know we're at a little bit of a time issue here as well. But I figured, well, I at least got to try to start the ball rolling and see if there's anything I can do to see exactly where your line is in conjunction with theirs and what we could do to maybe move it to an intersection, the nearest intersection for this phase.
Can I give you a card and have you drop me a email so I have your contact information? We can, yeah, I assume Rick's got your contact information as well. Okay. And I've been in the past, so I have this as well. Okay. Okay, that'd be great. Wonderful. Thank you, Kevin.
Tyson,
Yes.
I had a comment.
Yeah.
That's an issue for this gentleman, but there's also issues depending on when they do that construction. You have Riggs and Greenfield are the two main roads that access that school over there. So if they do it in the fall, you think there's a mess over at that school now with people driving crazy? It's going to get worse because Greenfield, and I'm sure you get morning traffic, people cutting through Greenfield to go drop their kids off at the school, and then Riggs, I mean, that's it. Those two roads are the only way to get to that school.
My understanding this morning was phase 2, which would go from Greenfield past Lindeman all the way to Erlanger Road, is slated to start sometime right around September, so it will be after school's back in session.
Yep. Right there.
And I'm not trying to delay anybody, but that is an issue I hadn't even thought of.
I mean, I'm saying
It would be nice if we could do that while
because I
school's out.
I emailed Rick Bogart also about, can you try and do this part, some of it in the spring, or when the kids are out of school from the end of May until the first part of September, but.
Yeah, I don't think we can move fast enough to finish the plans.
A lot of issues there.
Okay, a good point. Thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. Bundy. Anybody else have any? Okay. All right, so a couple things that I'll try to go through these quickly. I did want to remind everybody there is a mayor's group meeting this Saturday here, and welcome you to come out. It is a public meeting, and
you're making pancakes.
I am not making pancakes, but there might be pancakes there. I don't know.
They always feed people at the mayor's.
They do.
Meeting.
It's a 9 a.m.
Prepared the food for the people. No,
that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Save the taxpayer dollars.
Yeah. It's not. You're making this last longer. At 9 a.m. meeting on Saturday, this Saturday, right here. The meetings move each month, and we're the host of it this month. So come on out if you can. The next thing, real quickly, there's a great article that the River City News published. Did you guys see that?
Mark's cropped face.
Well, that one's good too. But the one I'm talking about is a New York-based firm analyzed the Northern Kentucky area and rated the easiest places to sell a home. And Erlanger is #1 in Northern Kentucky. Of 17 cities, we are #1. I thought that was great.
Our logo.
I know that you could take that 2 ways, Tyson.
Well, but easiest to sell a home. Yeah, you could. I thought about that too. But it really is good news.
We were never on the list till you became our mayor. It was a joke.
Oh, you're saying that people want to move out? Well, if it's easy to sell a home, that means people are buying them too. So it's good. It's still good. All right, the next item, I wanted to make sure everybody's aware. KLC is putting on a seminar June 22nd to June 24th. This is, where is it? I want to say it's in Lexington. I'm sorry, Bowling Green, Kentucky. The topic is Blighted, Abandoned, and Dilapidated Property Conference. This would be great for anyone that wants to attend it, hear from council. I know there's some staff members that are also talking about going. I would highly recommend that we attend this if you can. If you can get those dates free, June 22nd to June 24th, let me know. I'll be happy to copy you on that or give that postcard to you. We've got a little bit of news on our city attorney. Mr. Gatlin has announced that he is leaving Friend Freeze Arnold. And he is moving to Gatlin Volker. Creating Gatlin Volker. So this would, I wanted to make everybody aware of that. It will mean that we'll need to adjust the contract, and rework the contract. But, as far as I see it, I don't know who Friend Freeze or Arnold are, and I don't know how much we ever got from the firm. We've gotten pretty much everything from Mr. Gatlin, and I don't see that I don't expect that there would be any disruption in service or any change other than a name.
Yeah. New
Anything?
address.
Yeah, and it's actually just across the parking lot from where I'm currently at.
Well, you'll need help moving then, do you?
So I won't take up a lot of time. In a weird way, it's we're kind of going full circle because I started my legal career with my wife, and we literally had a partner's desk in Covington, Kentucky, and our landlord was Gary Edmondson. And I think Gary charged me more back in 1999 than I'm being charged at the Chamber Center. But no, I love Gary. Gary was a good mentor of mine. And my wife and I kind of expanded. We ended up somehow ending up in Williamstown, Kentucky, where then she became Master Commissioner. I became Grant County Attorney. We had 4 kids. She got out of practicing law. And at about that same time, I went with the bigger firm route. Did the bigger firm route for 6 years, and now we're kind of going full circle. So we're kind of re-going back with our original partner, Brandon Volker. My wife's coming back to work now since our last child is starting kindergarten in the fall. So it's kind of exciting. So it's kind of a rebirth. As far as the contract concerned, it's the exact same situation. We're just taking Friend Freeze and Arnold out. We're putting my firm name in, but nothing would change. The terms would all be the same. And as Tyson has indicated, 80% of this work has been done by me, 20% has been done by Brandon, and we would continue to keep Tim Spilly involved for coverage the 1 or 2 times that I'm not here, since I've heard from council that they like his jokes and they like his commentary on logos.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's funny.
I thought it was my jokes they liked.
That's funny. That's good.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Great, good. All right, thank you. Okay, then one other quick thing, and this is, I'm just going to put a bug in your ear and see what people think, and we can talk about this more later. We've got plenty of time on this. But, given our regular council meetings on the first Tuesday of the month, that means that we always will have a council meeting on Election Day. And I would love to not meet on Election Day. I mean, I think a lot of people are preoccupied and not really, maybe even exhausted.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, we usually go over there and watch
Well,
all
didn't we
the,
used to move it anyway or something? Didn't?
Yeah,
We would meet, the last few
I know,
times
but
we've met here.
what the heck did we move it for? So, a couple times
go
we
to
moved
the
it to
FOP
the,
and.
used to go to the FOP Lodge and watch
Lions
the
Club
results
one
and
year, I
stuff.
think we went.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if maybe we could intentionally make that an abbreviated meeting, but I'd almost just say, let's just move it to another
I
date.
don't like moving it. I'm good with Tuesdays.
Yeah, I mean, even like tonight, this is a primary, and I don't know.
We could just
Yeah.
not have
then
a
the next
meeting on
Tuesday.
election night.
Yeah,
You have it on the second? Have it on the second week or whatever.
have it on the second week. Yeah.
Then everybody's good.
So would that require a?
She just has to give, she just has to do a special meeting notice.
Okay.
Respectful thing for us to do, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I hear a couple of yays. I mean, I know we're not really voting, but am I seeing heads nod? Okay. Okay, we can move forward with that then. Thank you. Okay, then the final thing, I'll try to make this quick as well. I was contacted by a man from Jurgensen and Eaton. They've just gotten a contract to redo the paving on I-75 north from 275 to Dixie Highway. And they are looking to try to set up a batch plant where they can make concrete over the course of the work. The course of the work is 3 months, but they'd be wanting to set up a batch plant for 6 months. I guess, getting it set up and then getting it taken down. They like the site where we used to have a concrete plant here in
I was
Erlanger.
just gonna say, talk about deja vu.
They would like to rent
We had to buy it
rent
to
the
get rid of
property,
it.
rent the property for 6 months, and they promised to restore it to the condition that it's in now. So, you know, originally he had come to me and said that they would be willing to pay about $1,000 a month for that period. I talked to Mark and to Dave about it, and they brought a couple really good points to this that I hadn't thought of, and that is, you know, the wear and tear on
the
Houston Road.
roadway,
Yeah.
yes.
And, you know, and not really knowing what kind of condition it's going to be left in if we got to come in after them for
Yeah.
anything. So said that it probably wouldn't be worth it for $6,000.
Insurance issues. too.
And, you know, and just kind of like, you know, just in our conversation, we said, well, what would be worth it, you know? Is there a dollar amount that would make it worthwhile, or would we just say no, period?
I don't think there's a dollar amount for what we had to do out there to get it back in the condition it's in. I mean, I look at what it used to look like, and you go out there now and look at it, I mean, think about it. I mean, that place was a total trash mess.
It was
Yeah.
disgusting.
To let that come back in and
Are they
get
gonna pay for
back the
that-
way it was,
to contaminate
I don't
stuff?
think they're gonna put it back the way it is right now. I mean, anybody can make a promise, but once they're done, they're gone.
You'll be in court.
Right?
We'll be chasing them to the next site. I don't like the idea of the wear and tear on Houston Road, even on Donaldson Highway. I don't like the wear and tear off the interstate and over there.
Right, right.
Right, I agree.
When they did this section right here, the interstate, when they changed it, and we had them cut into the Lions property, come up there and dump all that fill dirt and everything up there, the destruction they did was worse than what they did to help us.
Maybe
So
they
I'm
could
telling you,
tear the
I just
hotel
don't see
down
it- I
and use
just don't
that
see how-
land.
Are they willing to fix Houston Road? Are they willing to fix Donaldson Highway if they tear it? down?
Probably not. I mean, I don't know. I haven't asked that. I can ask that.
I just think it's the biggest headache we're gonna do.
Well, we were just kicking around ideas, and we said, what if it was $10,000 a month? You know, what if they paid us $60,000? Could that make it worthwhile to come back and fix Houston Road and whatever else?
What did it cost to clean up the concrete plant?
Well, I mean, the costs that we have altogether in there, I mean, between the cost of the property and the cost of the cleanup and abatement and all that stuff is right about $500,000.
I think we gotta just stay away from it.
So I had mentioned that to him. I said, you know, I wasn't thinking about that, and I mentioned to him about the $10,000 a month, you know, that it might be more like that. Of course, I'd want to have council's approval first, but he said that he didn't think that that would be worthwhile, and said, well, would the city sell the property? And he said, again, he said, we wouldn't want to say, he said, the batch plant would be temporary, and we don't know what we would do with the property, but it might be easier for us if we actually purchase the property. You know, if they purchase the property at $500,000,
No,
Because then it's another
That
concrete
goes
plant.
against what we bought it for to begin with.
exactly.
I think if we do that, we take a step backwards in where we're trying
I
to go.
Okay.
totally agree with you, JD.
okay,
I also,
We're trying to enhance that area
yeah.
for
I
development.
also
Go
think
ahead,
with the,
Doc. Oh, sorry.
with the grant that we're trying to get with the
Mm-hmm,
Houston area, would that have an adverse effect? The state would come back and say, oh my gosh, you trashed it.
That's a
Now
great
you're
point.
wanting us to give you money to fix it.
I bet it would,
So I think we should just stay away from
yeah.
that.
Don had something.
Do you think you could do a trade-off on some sidewalks or some streets or something?
With their concrete company?
Yeah.
That's a great idea. But still, we'd be putting the batch plant there. You know we'll get complaints, I mean, because there's residents that drive by there every day.
If they buy
No,
the property,
thank you.
they can't put the batch plant there because it's not zoned for that. The city owns the property, we can allow that. But if they buy the property, that becomes private property, subject to our zoning, and they'd have to have a rezoning to put that batch plant there.
Okay. Well, it sounds like we would never deem that surplus, you know, with that in mind. Okay.
Took us long enough to
So,
get a
so
hold of
then,
that.
let me add one more facet to that. Across the street from there, we also have about another 4.5 acres, I think it is. We have not put a lot of money into that. That is a site that I've heard in the past that we fought a lot on people dumping there. We've got a company that would be interested in building an office there. I think I can say it pretty freely, can I? Arling House Heating and Air, which is now on Dixie Highway, they're looking to expand, and they like that spot. It is zoned R3 right now, so it would require a zone change. But is that something that you think that the city might think would make sense, that we would surplus that property?
It's gonna be an office building, or is it gonna be
Well, it'd be there,
like a pole barn and a business?
I don't know exactly, but right now they've got a metal building.
Garrett, come and talk to us and show us what they wanna do, just
Yeah.
like we made Smith Towing.
Yeah. Well, and I think even Mark, I think Mark had a good idea too. He said, well, let's open it up and see if there's other people that might be interested as well.
Wasn't there somebody
You know.
interested in putting a tower over there and using it or something at one time?
Putting a firehouse over there.
Yeah, that was one of the sites for the firehouse that was talked about.
Yeah, I think, didn't they say it was the site was too small?
Put a
5 acres?
cell tower or something.
Well, it's
I don't remember
only
a cell
about,
tower.
probably half of it is usable. It's creek and hillside, woods.
Yeah, I don't remember a cell tower.
I just seen
I heard somebody mention firehouse.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I don't want to speak out of turn here because now we've just taken some action about a firehouse location.
Right.
But that is where, we had one designed at one point in time. Just from my history and knowing the history of the calls in the city and where they're at and things like that, I don't see that study coming back saying that that's going to be, or moving this firehouse that much further west. I just don't see it, knowing where the need
Right.
is and the calls are. So I
Right.
don't think it will be used for anything like that. And I maybe spoke too soon about some of that, but I don't think that will come back. We might want to wait to see
Yeah.
that.
That makes
But,
sense.
that location is a location where and we secured that simply because we wanted, one part of that, the watershed is down there. We've got a lot of land along that creek. There had been some talk at one point in time about building walking trails and
Right,
some
I
things
remember
down
that.
there is
Yeah.
another, enmity to that side of town, because there's not really anything in the Cherry Hill, that whole side of town over there. We're looking at that maybe at the trailhead. Rick had talked about maybe some kind of comfort station that was just a small comfort station of some kind there that would still maybe allow us to do that if we went into partnership with somebody that wanted to develop the other 4 acres of whatever this was. And we secured it and I think David worked very hard on us getting that property. One, we wanted to make sure that when in fact we had the money to extend Houston Road, that we had enough right-of-way to do that. We do now, and we have that, and we can still secure that. I think even with anything that any company would want to come in and do. I think this is a good opportunity to explore, to see if in fact we can do something to get something developed there. Again, I think we do have to take into consideration what the appearance is going to be, because that will be then.
It has to be very aesthetically pleasing.
Right, that will be the gateway then to whatever happens in Showcase. So I think we have to work with the company to do that. We had talked about some of the other properties around, and David and I had kicked this around a few times about looking and approached the mayor about maybe just putting out a request for proposals for all the land that we have. Dixie and McAlpin is another one that I think is probably a pretty valuable piece of land that's sitting there along Dixie Highway for some kind of small development to go in. Again, we had even looked, and the fire department even looked at that at one point in time, and it's just not big enough for a firehouse the way it needs to be designed.
The lumber company. I mean, how long,
Well, that's the railroad's property, right? You talking about Erlanger Lumber?
yeah.
Yeah, so that's another one that we'd really love to work with and get cleaned up and get it out of here. But if we take some of our properties and maybe put out those proposals to see what we get back,
Yeah.
just to see.
Don't have to say yes.
We don't have to say yes, but put something together, send them out to developers and say, hey, we have this property, boom, what kind of proposal would you like to make us? You know, because whatever we get, excuse me, whatever we get built on it, you know, even though, and I think we got about $120,000 in the other two lots down there. I think on Houston Road, I think that's the number. We had about 121,000 in those two lots. You know, to get, you know, whether or not we get all of our money back out of there or not right away, again, I'll relay it. And I think I talked to Mr. Meyer a little bit about this earlier. I talked to the other company earlier today about payroll and used this example. You know, the lighting that we're doing outside, you know, we're spending just around $40,000 to get this lighting changed. We'll have that paid off in 33 months from the savings that we're going to see. And everything else, then we'll cut our utility bills and we'll see that much savings over the next years. Same way could be said about the vacant property that we have. If we get something on there and get it developed, at least the building's going to be there. We're going to be getting tax dollars. Then it's not going to be our property any longer. Somebody's going to be paying taxes on it. Everything that's ours, we get nothing out of except cost for Public Works to maintain it. So just looking at something like that. But, you know, the other one, you know, is definitely one. It's a prime site. You know, David has shown that to several companies looking at that, the old concrete plant, of looking at that and trying to get it done. So, you know, it has a lot of potential to do. So,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
So any thoughts there? I mean, do you think we should open it up?
I do.
Yeah? Yeah?
Can't hurt.
Okay. All right, great.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. That's all I had. So thank you for your patience. Made the meeting last another 25 minutes.
Please. Make it.
All right. If there's nothing else, then I'll ask that we motion to
I'd just like to say to everybody, thank you so much for your love and your prayers and your friendship while my mother-in-law was passing away. It was almost like losing my husband again. It was horrible. But all the prayers and love and support really helped a lot. And I just thank you from the bottom of my heart.
All right.
I need them Friday, so.
All right. Do I hear a motion that we adjourn? Motion, second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.